Cody Step here. Time and time again, when agents start looking at SAM, they end up reaching out with one pressing question. Cody, where do I even begin? Now, if you're taking a trial or if you're a brand new customer, you can rest assured we've got your back. You're going to be receiving several emails over the next couple of days that are going to showcase all of the different areas that are worth learning about, looking at, and ultimately those messages are going to give you the practical steps you need to start building that foundation. But because we get this question so much, I thought to myself, why not build a bit of a supplementary training so that I can help you guys and I can put it together in one centralized place. So that's exactly what we're going to be looking at today. Now, because SAM is an AI native platform and we're going to be adding details into our account that are going to help SAM understand who we are, what our company is and does just a little bit more, I want to talk about the other pressing question we get, and that's data privacy. Now, one of the things that we believe fundamentally at Workflow Secrets is that your data is just that, your data. And because of that, we've built SAM in a way that is going to ensure that all of your information, anything you add into the system, anything you share with the system, stays inside your account. Now, because of that, what that means is it's not going to the big LLM AI providers. It's not going to be used by any other company or any other team. And we're not even using your information at Workflow Secrets to help SAM. So you can rest assured that it's truly siloed or held stationary inside your account. But as you add information, what you're going to do is you're going to give the system more insight into who you are, what your team is and does, so that it can best help you. So there's a lot of power that we can unlock by ensuring that we give it lots of good information, but it's worth bringing up. So if you're ready, go ahead and visit sam.workflowsecrets.info. We can meet at the login screen and we will get started. All right, now that we're at the login screen, there's a couple of ways that we can sign in. Either A, fill in your email and your password and click this little sign in button, or you can sign in using Google. But if you found this video and you're saying, Cody, I haven't yet created an account, no trouble. Click this don't have an account, sign up. You'll fill in a couple of additional details, but after that, you will find yourself in the exact same spot as we go. Now, this account is a brand new account because what I want to do is work through all of the steps that I would encourage you to do from a very first login. So this ultimately is going to be what your account looks like. We're going to be able to have a lot of fun. Now, the first thing that we're going to be met with is the dashboard. And honestly, the dashboard can feel a little bit overwhelming right now because we just simply put do not have any information here. So we're going to go ahead and put a pin in that for later. Maybe we look at all of the different powerful features like the missed milestones, as well as our contact stats, lots of things that we can use to help manage our business. But for now, if you wanted to minimize any of these, you could. On the top left-hand side, if you wanted to click that icon, you could actually uncheck any that you don't want to see, or you can just go ahead and hold off on this and we can visit that a little bit later. But the very first thing that I want you to do is on the top right-hand side, click on your initials. From there, you're going to have a drop-down menu and we're going to go to the profile section. Once we're in the profile section, this is going to be where we start to fine-tune SAM so that it understands a little bit about our brokerage, our company, our team, as well as us as a real estate agent. Now, a lot of folks ask, and so it's worth answering, Cody, do I need to fill out all of these pieces of information? The short answer is no, but the more information you're able to fill in, the better SAM can help you. So if you have an answer, go ahead and fill it in. And as you're going, you can go ahead and click the drop down and fill out all of these pieces of information. Once you fill out any of the one sections, what I would encourage you to do is on the top right-hand side, just under our initials, click the save button. This is going to indicate that we have successfully saved once it has, and we can keep moving, but we can rest assured knowing that we've saved everything. Now, if you'd like to pause right here and fill out all this information, that's probably going to be your best shot, but I'm not actually going to fill this out on the screen. Seems a little bit silly for you to watch me do that. So for now, go ahead and pause the video, fill it all out, click save, and I'll meet you once we have our team filled out. Okay, now that we have our team filled out, we need to start looking at our actual team members or our account owner. That should be your account. Now, if you're in a trial, you're only going to have access to one of these accounts. If for some reason you find yourself a member of our illustrious community of SAM users and you actually have an account with multiple team members, you will have a button that is currently hidden on my screen called Add Team Member. When you click that button, it'll ask for their first name, their last name, and their email. When you fill that in, you can send them a request. It will actually send them an email and they can click sign up. They can create their own account and then they will be added to your team just under you. But for now, we don't have to worry about that. We can just go to the account owner and on the right-hand side, click on our name. From here, it's going to create a drop-down and we can start filling in all of our different details for us as an actual team member. Now, as you fill out all of these details, what I would like for us to do is go ahead and stop at the member niche. And it's because I would like to explain what a member niche is. Now, in real estate, you might find yourself with multiple areas that you like to focus on. Maybe you only work with first-time home buyers. Maybe you only work with new construction, or maybe you only work with luxury condos. Those are considered niches. And as we start to build our contacts that we're sharing with Sam, sharing these niches is going to help the system best understand exactly who we like to work with so that when it's creating content for us, it can tailor it to those individuals. So as we're filling in our member niche, what you want to do is use a semicolon to separate any additional ones after the first. So new construction would be a first one. First time home buyers would be a second one. And you notice that I added a semicolon to ensure that those separate. And we can look at exactly why we're doing that just a little bit later. But for now, just know that those member niches are all of the different areas you like to focus on. After that, let's go ahead and look at our member voice. Now, member voice is just a really fancy way of saying, what is your writing style? Now, one of the really cool things about SAM is it can actually use AI to create content for us. And it can do this in several different ways, whether creating resources that we like to call lead magnets that you can share with leads, you can bring them into your actual business. We can look at exactly how you do that a little bit later. But what it's going to be doing is it's going to be mimicking your writing style. And so when you see member voice, all you're really actually talking about is your writing style. And for your writing style, you're going to have lots of different attributes that you can select from. If you know those, go ahead and click them. You can check them and you can figure it out. Or if for some reason you find yourself saying, Cody, who knows how I write? Click on the left-hand side, this analyze content, and you can paste in a writing sample. Now, this specific writing sample I'm pasting in is from our vision that we have for SAM and where we're taking it. It's a really fun read and it's a really fun video. I'll actually throw it up in the top corner. So if you'd like to check that out next, you can. But once you've pasted in a writing style or you've given just a quick example of your writing, go ahead and click OK, and then Sam will start to analyze it. Now, once Sam is done analyzing it, it's going to give all of those attributes. But as you look through this list, you can go ahead and you can adjust them however you would like. Once we have that, we are almost done. Now, all we need to do is fill in our service area as well as additional information. Now, another question I get all the time is, Cody, what information should I add in additional information? The easy answer is anything you feel would be very helpful so that Sam has the best understanding of you as a real estate agent, as a person, or just anything you like to do. Oftentimes, the About Me section or a description that you might have on social media are really great areas to start, but ultimately you can throw in whatever you would like. Now, once we have all of this done, go ahead and on the top right-hand side, click this Save button, and then Sam is going to save all that information. Now, the last thing that you could do is just under your account owner, click this Link a Contact Record to this team member. And you should be able to find that in searching, you can find your own contact card. And if you don't, you just type out your name and click add new contact. You'll actually add your very first contact to the account. Now from here, it's going to have that contact record linked so that Sam has understanding on top of all of this information that we can find in our contact section. We can look at that a little bit later, but for now, I'm going to save it one more time. And then we're going to go to the top right-hand section, clicking our initials one more time, and then going into the integrations. Now in the integrations, you're going to find a lot of different companies and softwares that we actually are able to use using SAM. And there's lots that we can look at. There's lots that we can choose from. There's a lot of things that I could showcase. But what I have found is the most easy way for you to best start understanding what SAM can actually do for you is to be able to send messages. And to be able to send messages, you need to have email access. So we have a couple of different ways that you can connect email depending on what kind of company or what kind of profile you actually have for your business. So the very first way would be SendGrid. Now, SendGrid is a secondary company that you can gain access to, and you can actually create your own account, and you can add your API key once you've created it. If you find yourself wondering how to create it, I have a nice little training video. You can find that on the card up at the top. You can get all of that set up. Now, the power in using SendGrid is that SendGrid is going to gather stats. So you can see how many emails were sent, how many emails were open, how many were bounced, how many unsubscribed, how many opened, how many clicked, things like that. So there's a lot of power in integrating SendGrid, but there are additional steps. So sometimes folks don't like to use that. That's totally fine. If you find yourself in that camp, oftentimes you're going to find yourself using either Google or Outlook. And both of these have the same general process. So I'm going to go through the Google process in length, mostly because I don't actually have an Outlook. But if you find yourself with an Outlook, it's the same exact process. So the first thing that you want to do is click this Add Google Authorization or Add Outlook Authorization. Now, it's worth noting there is a pop-out. So in your URL, if for some reason you did not see a pop-out, there's going to be on the right-hand side a little icon, and it's probably going to indicate that there was a pop-up block. You want to go ahead and click that, allow it, and you'll be able to see this pop-up. From there, you can select whichever Google or Outlook 365 account that you would like. And once you do that, you're going to be asked if you would like to give Sam permission. Let's go ahead and talk about that real quick, because what are we actually agreeing to? I find it's very important for us to understand. When we give Sam permission to send on our behalf, what we are doing is we're taking a message that we've either written or we've created using Sam, and we're sending it and we're saying, hey, Google, hey, Outlook, I would like to send a message and I'd like to send it out via your services. I've already written it. And they will say, okay, well, I see the message. Looks like you've approved that Sam is a legitimate partner. And, oh, you've given them the ability to send. No problem. And so then it can send those messages on your behalf. That's what we are agreeing to. So now that we understand that, let's go ahead and let's finish up the process. So once you have done that, you need to sign back in. Go ahead and click continue. And there's going to be one additional step. Now, right now, you can see that we have access to 5 services that we're actually using. And sometimes when we're setting up our email, we find that it's not actually sending out emails. And it's oftentimes a permissions issue. So this is really something worth looking at, because you can actually troubleshoot all of this different stuff. Now, if for some reason it is, in fact, your permissions, go ahead and click this Google account. It's going to take you to a secondary window, and you can scroll all the way down to Sam, and you can look at the see details. You can even delete all the connections, and then you can re-add those. Once you've re-added those, you should be all good to go. You can go ahead and close that. Coming back into Sam, you can then click done, click continue, and you should be ready to go. From here, Sam's going to think about your account. It's going to authorize. It's basically talking to either Outlook or Google, and then you're ready to go. And you can see on the bottom left-hand side, it had a menu validating that it was successfully added. Now I have my Google account, and I could actually add multiple accounts here, but for now, I'm just going to add the one. Now, the really cool thing about Google is we can actually synchronize with a two-way sync to Google. And what that means is we can sync our contacts and we can sync our calendar both to Google as well as from Google to SAM. So if we adjust something on Google Calendar, it will adjust it in our SAM calendar. If we adjust something in SAM, it will adjust it on Google. So there's a lot of power there. It's not currently available as of March 2026 in Outlook, but maybe as you're watching this video, you actually have access to that because it's something that we're working on, but it's not quite ready. So stay tuned for that. Here's a little bit of a teaser. Now, once we have all of that ready to go, we're pretty well ready to go. We have all of our information and we have the ability to send messages. So let's go ahead and let's hop back over to our dashboard using the left-hand side menu. And, realistically, let's actually just go to the Generations tab. Now, I want to talk about the Generations tab real quick. I'm going to show you around. We're going to explain exactly what we're able to set up, and then we're going to move on to our next video. How's that sound? So the Generations tab was the first area inside of SAM. This actually was the foundation because I built SAM as a marketing tool so that I could help real estate agents use AI to create marketing materials. I took Mark's framework, the core strategies framework. It's the 4 core areas you need to have good systems inside your business. Conversions is all about bringing in leads. Operations is managing your business. Retentions is how we engage with our past clients. And then the experiences that we provide throughout all 3 of those core strategies framework. So clicking into the conversions, we can look at several different types of resources that we could create. Now, oftentimes folks will create lead magnets. Lead magnets are resources that we build that attract new leads to us. Everyone needs more leads. That's great. And from here, we can select any of the different types of lead magnets we want. Now from here on the left-hand side, once I've selected the guide, I can choose the specific team member. If you have multiple team members, you can toggle between them. And now you can see that member niche. I can select between new construction or first-time home buyers because I use that semicolon to separate them. And then it's also included my member voice so that it can create this resource and it'll sound like me. Now, the very last thing we need to do to create any of these resources is explain to Sam what we are hoping to accomplish with this resource. So right now we're building a lead magnet. It's going to be a guidebook for new construction. And so now we need to think about, gosh, what would we hope to explain? Now, I pre-filled in an answer for you guys, but this is probably not the best answer. We could go as far as on the right-hand side, click Let Sam Enhance It, and it's going to use some AI and actually build out a better prompt so that it can actually create something. But maybe this isn't exactly what you want. So you can click in here, you can type, and you can adjust it. But for the sake of this little demonstration, I'll just hit Begin. Now, once it begins, it's going to look at all of this different information. It's going to look at what we're trying to build. It's going to look at all of that, and it's going to come back with a couple of questions. I call this the tuning fork because they're going to help refine exactly what it creates. And again, I filled out an answer for you guys so that you have a place to start, but these are probably not going to be the best answers. And in fact, if it's a bad question on the right-hand side, you can even thumbs down it and Sam won't even consider it. But once you've gone through all of the questions, you've given answers, you can just hit continue. And then once you continue, it's going to start generating this lead magnet for me. So you can see now the power in just simply clicking and answering and starting to create things. And it's going to give me the guts of this piece. Now, at any point, I could regenerate it. It'll create it again. I could refine it by explaining specifically what I want to adjust. I can even expand either the whole piece of content or the selected content. And then I can even click in and edit any of this content. So now we can start to build all the different pieces. I can save this for later and we can come back. Now, from here, that's not necessarily a print ready resource. And so that's where we go back to that integrations tab. We can utilize services like Gamma, which can actually be connected using an API key. Again, This is an additional software, but it's a valuable software, and in a lot of ways they give you some free access. So it's definitely worth looking into. You can click this little try gamma, and what it'll do is it'll create print ready resources off of those generations that we created. So now we have that. There's a couple of other ways, since we're talking about bringing leads in the door, that maybe we just talk about, not necessarily part of the first login, here's what I need to know, but they're really fun things to look at. And that's email leads to SAM. Maybe you have an email form that sends new leads. Well, you can actually create an email form. You can explain where they're coming from. Maybe they're coming from realtor.com. You can pre-fill in some of these source information pieces. What type are they? What status are they? You can even add tags. You could go as far as to create an important date. Now, the important dates are a way that we start all of our automations. But now, anytime an email comes in to this specific email address that we've pre-built, and this is a demo account, and this email is going to get deleted at the end of it, it would then send it directly into SAM. The AI inside of it is going to start to create all of the different contact pieces. So that's really neat. The other way in which we could do that inside the integrations is our web form integration. And it basically works the same way, but if you have a website that you want to add some back end details, it'll create a little card on the website, and you can actually use that to gather lead details from your website. So a couple ways to bring in leads into our database. Now, since we're talking about it, the other thing that you really need to start to build out is your database. This is essentially the CRM component. We have both a contact database inside of SAM that's going to bring in all of the best information. We're going to do a couple of things additionally. Now, this specific area has lots of different tabs that we can toggle between. You could actually add additional tabs based on what you wanted, but the personal details are insights about this person that you think are really helpful, as well as the priorities might be, what are they hoping to have in their dream property? So you can start to help understand. But the more information we add into this area, the more SAM is able to help. The last thing that I'll showcase here is the important dates. These are the areas in which we use to trigger our automations. We call these routines. This is a modern reimagining of workflow automations. And it's because we're focusing on an individual place. So a great example of this is birthday. Maybe you learned someone's birthday, and maybe it's on March the 5th. When you add that in, if you have an automation built for their birthday, boom, it now triggers because we added that in. An example of that, on that lead form, that important date got filled out. So as the lead comes in, it fills out that important date, and automation gets started. So you're immediately handling your leads as they come in the door. So this is some of the power that we have inside of SAM. Now, as we're looking to build our routines, we can actually build a new routine just like you probably have historically with workflow automations, or click on new routine and you can build your very own a new lead follow-up so that we have something to handle. We select a specific date. Maybe it's the new lead date. We could start adding all of the different pieces, or we can just let SAM build it. Now, because we've shared all of our information with SAM in the profiles, it's actually going to be able to help us out. So we are going to create a 5-day new lead follow-up. It doesn't have to be fancy. You just explain what is your overall goal. You can let SAM enhance it, and then it's going to create something better for us. And then we can hit generate. And this is where the power happens, because in the course of just a couple of minutes, SAM is not only going to give us all of the steps, which you could probably find in most systems, but you can actually have it build out your automations for you. So this is something that historically CRMs have allowed you to manually create. And for a lot of agents, it takes weeks, if not months, to build out entire automated processes. Sam is doing that for us. Not only is it looking at all of the different steps, it's building out the calculations for how many days apart they need to be when we want to send them, but now it's creating all of those messages and they're written to sound just like you. So now that we've filled in our profile information, Sam has the context that it can create resources for us. It can help bring leads in the door. It can use insights that we know about those leads, and it can create automations for us that are going to be custom written specific to us based on what it knows about how we like to write. So now that this automation is done, let's go and just check it out, see what, one day after the new lead is filled in, it's going to send a message. Oh, and it pre-writ my welcome message. And yeah, it's got merge fields. It's pretty standard, but it's going to be writing in my style. It's brief, it's exciting, it's engaging, and it was written by Sam. Now, is this the final draft? Probably not, but it gives you a place to start. So all of this is possible because we've filled out all of our information, and now this email could be sent out through the outbox. And in fact, what we can do right now is we can click new message. We can send out an email or an SMS, but let's just send out an email. We have my Gmail account that's connected. I can send it to my own email just for the sake of it. And I can even go and on the right-hand side, select template. I could choose from any of the previously built templates, or I can let Sam build something for me. A first time home buyer quick tips email and welcome. When I hit submit, now Sam is going to start creating a message for me. Again, referencing those personal details to create messages. Because we integrated our email account, once it has that message, I can go ahead and preview it. I can look at it. I can read through it. I can click into it and adjust it. And then I can send it. And now Sam is sending a message on my behalf using my Gmail account because I connected it and it's ready to go. And just like that, we now have all of these different steps. We have all of the pieces that we need to have so that we can start moving through and using it. Now, there's some additional things that we could do. We can look at the properties database that holds our property, listing, and transaction information. We can have access to historic transactions as well as historic listings. We can set up a Twilio account, which is a sister company to SendGrid, and we can then start using the call list to actually build out new calls. And now we have access to our call list that can use insights from any contact to get talking points so that we can have pieces of conversation that we want to talk about. We can add tags, we can add notes. It's going to be able to record the call if we live in a state that allows us to record calls, that it then can reference the transcript. It can add additional insights and information that we gain to the call, from the call to the contact. It can start all sorts of different tasks or automations based on that. And Sam at every step is utilizing AI to help us be successful. It's all because we set up our profile, we set up our ability to send emails, and a little bonus that we set up our Twilio. Now, from here, this pretty well gives you everything you need, plus quite a lot more. And there's so much that you could look at. There's so much you could learn inside of Sam. And if you've just started a trial, you're going to get to have some focused attention on each of these sections. So don't worry. If you're a new customer, the exact same. But as you start to add pieces into your Sam, I want you to approach this with a how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time mentality. Because as you start to learn Sam, if you just dedicate a couple of minutes each and every day over the course of the next 14 days for the trial, or maybe over the next month as a customer, you're going to start to learn how to use the platform. Now, on top of all of this, every Thursday we have customer office hours. You can spend some time with Mark and I live. You can ask all the questions you have. You can start to look at all of the things that we've been adding that week inside the platform, and you can hang out with the community. But at every step of the way, you are going to be able to use Sam to do more inside of your business. You're going to be able to finally leverage AI as the tool that's going to create some really powerful things inside your business. And I'm just really excited. Hopefully this has been a great first look at SAM, plus a little bit of bonus tips and seeing how it all connects into place. And I can't wait to see you in the platform. Other than that, I'll see you very soon.